I guess we can start with your name and rank.
My name is Brian Gonzalez. I'm currently a Master Sergeant in the Texas Army National Guard.
Okay, and where were you born?
I was born in Victoria, Texas.
Okay,
My
how old are you?
Right now I'm currently 30 years old.
30 years old, okay. And who are your parents?
My parents are Timothy Gonzalez Sr. and Jeanette Benavides.
Okay. What did they do?
My mom's in retail, and then my dad's been working in the oil fields pretty much all his life. So
Oh, that's good.
Okay, do you have any siblings?
I do. I got 4. I have an older brother. He's 31 years old, and then I have a younger sister. She is 28. Oh, never mind. She's 29 now. She just had a birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to her.
And then I have a younger brother. He just turned 15. So.
All right. What were you doing before you entered the service?
Well, kind of a unique situation since I joined the Texas Army National Guard. It's called like a delay entry program, so I was able to join as a junior in high school. So as soon as I was old enough to sign, even though my mom didn't want me to sign, because she had to basically sign for me because I wasn't old enough to sign, she basically signed me away at the age of 17. So I joined as a junior in high school. So I basically reported once a month until I went to basic training the following summer. So
Okay.
Wow.
I already got a year out of the way before I actually went to basic training.
Wow, that's nice.
All right. Yeah. Why'd you choose the branch you are in?
Well, my brother joined a year before I did, so that was part of it. I also had an uncle that's been in the military a long time too, and him being in the Texas Army National Guard kind of told us the benefits of the Texas Army National Guard as far as going to college, but being able to also go home and not really be tied to a duty station like an active duty member. So for me, coming from the background that I did, and my mom being basically a single parent, I didn't really have too many options in going to college. So that was basically a good way for me to get college paid for and continue my education. So that's the route I chose.
All right. That's a pretty good, reason. What was the training for your branch like?
It's just like every other active duty person. We go with all the same place, depending on your MOS. So I'm a 13 Bravo Field Artillery is my primary MOS. So basically, we mess with tanks or artillery, just kind of make a lot of noise. But so we went to Fort Sill, and basically all the active duty, reserve, and National Guard all go to the same place and do basic training. And when we get into our specialized, MOSs, then we'll go off to those specific schools. So that just so happened to stay in the same spot. So I did both basic and AIT, which is the specialized training, all there in Fort Sill.
All right.
Where was the basic training at?
Like I said, it was in Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I did the whole 12 weeks there,
Mhm.
and
And then from there you went to.
from there, like I said, being in the Texas Army National Guard, we didn't have a duty station, so I came back home.
So you came back home.
Yes.
And how would you say your instructors were like?
They were pretty strict, pretty fair. They just, when you put a lot of individuals on the same spot and you ask them to be a team from all different backgrounds, ethnicity, all just different places and different philosophies and stuff, they had to be that way for us to build that team and cohesion that the Army needs. I think it was pretty fair. Not too bad.
That's good. And how did you adapt to military life?
I like to say my mom was pretty strict, so it wasn't too hard. It was.
Yeah.
It
Not
wasn't
much of an adjustment.
Yeah, it wasn't too much of an adjustment. You still had rules, but the philosophy of life and doing what you're supposed to do and being on time, and just taking care of business when you need to. That's basically what the Army did, but they kind of enforced it a little bit more. They didn't let you get away with things, kind of like the civilian life would be. Like you could be late and it's okay sometimes, depending on your boss. But in the military life, it's pretty strict that you have to be here on this time, and if it doesn't, it could affect more things, bigger picture wise. So that's kind of a lot of things that we got to learn
Wow.
for the military.
Well, that's good. And how is the weather out there in
Oh, it
Oklahoma?
was horrible. So Oklahoma, I mean, if you've ever been there,
No.
it has all seasons there. Tornadoes and just really, really bad weather. Heat is just real dry heat, just really extreme. And then of course the insects and stuff. It's just a different place. Not one of my best places I've got to visit, but good overall.
And how would you say the food was like? What did you have to eat?
A lot of times you didn't have much time to think about what you ate, so you were just fortunate to eat and get it done. So, I can't complain too much. We got to eat, and it was free, and, it is what it is.
Well, what things did you miss out on civilian life from being in training to coming back after you were done?
Right out of high school, a lot of your friends went off to college, straight to college. A lot of them went and got jobs and stuff like that. So I think just a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of missed occasions, birthdays, a lot of things that, if I was at home, I wouldn't have missed. But being in the military, you kind of miss those things. So.
After you got out of training, where'd you serve and when?
Okay, well, like I said, when I got out of the training, I came back and basically was kind of getting my life together. I went off to college, and then my first deployment came in 2005. That was, in 2002 is kind of where, the Army National Guard wasn't really deploying that much. They didn't use it like they do today, so we weren't used as much. So 2005, when they seen the need for National Guard, when we started filling those gaps where active duty members were at. So 2005 we deployed and we went to Kosovo. That was my first active duty mission. We were there on ground for a year in Kosovo, but overall it was about a 16 to 18 month tour, I believe. With training and then coming back and all that kind of stuff. So. It was a peacekeeping mission, so we were just there doing peacekeeping missions, nothing extreme or anything like that, but good experience.
Where is Kosovo? Kosovo, yeah.
It's kind of kind of a big story, but it's kind of like over there in the Russian area, Europe, or kind of in that area. But Kosovo used to be. There's the Albanian and Serbian people that were basically fighting over this territory, and basically we were there to keep them from not fighting with each other. So, yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. So.
Are there any other memories you're okay with sharing of that time?
No, it was just a really good experience. Very cold. It only seemed like the sun was out probably about 3 or 4 months out of the year, and the rest of the time it was just snow and cold and wet. So, being from Texas, it wasn't really, really our best times. But the snow was good for about the 5 minutes that we first saw it, and then after that, it was pretty miserable. So.
Yeah, I can kind of relate to that when it snowed in 2004. What is this stuff? What friendships did you make during the war? Are there any, special ones you made?
Well, that time it was, like I said, it was a peacekeeping mission. But I've also been to Iraq. I got to go there in 2008, 2009. But both deployments were both the same as far as the relationships and experience and everything that comes with deployment. So, being in the National Guard, like I said, every deployment was different. The people were different. We didn't deploy most of the time with the same people all the time. So. I always had to learn new faces. Always had to learn new philosophies. So, just overall, the opportunity and the experience was just like no other.
Yeah. What about language barriers while you were over in Kosovo?
Both Iraq and Kosovo were both the same. We always had translators with us if we went out on patrols. Anytime we did any interaction or anything like that, We always had them with us when we needed to talk and stuff like that. So, yeah, there was those language barriers, but they already had things in place to fix that, so.
Okay.
It
All right.
worked out.
Yeah, that's cool. How did you stay in touch with your family and friends while you were deployed?
Oh, there were several different ways. You know, my grandma, you know, bless her heart, she's not here anymore, but, you know, she wrote me once a week. So
Sweet.
she always used to, you know, write me sweet letters and tell me that she was cooking some kind of guisada or something.
Aw.
And some rice and beans, just because she knew we weren't having that stuff.
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
But sweet lady she was. But other than that, emails, and then I think Vonage was like the big, you know, phone communicator
Yeah.
on the internet. But the military provided a lot of communication things. You know, even if you didn't have those abilities to do that, you know, they had what they call the MWR, where they had computers, they had you know, video there so you could see your families. They had phones, but you know, anytime we were on bases and stuff, there was always a lot of people. So you know, just had to wait in line sometimes and deal with that, just so you can stay in touch with family and stuff.
Yeah. Well, as long as you can stay in touch, you know.
Yeah.
What kind of fun activities did you do, like off duty, if there were any sorts of?
We try to play as many sports or something, just trying to get our head out of you know, the missions and stuff like that, or
Mhm.
things that we had to do. You know, just like anything, whether you're here or over there, you have problems, you know, and issues and stuff like that. So building that team and always trying to stay together and be there for each other was a big part, especially being that far away from home. So, you know, football, baseball, whatever we could get our hands on, we try to do. And again, the military is pretty good about creating that opportunity to play those kind of sports and stuff like that. So you can kind of get our mind off of other things.
That's good.
Where were you when the war ended? Where did you go? Did you come back to Texas, or
Yes.
did you live anywhere else after?
No, I just came back to Texas. I had actually, you know, when I got back from basic training, I moved here to Corpus, and so been here since then because my unit was here in Corpus at the time when I first started off. So it only made sense I'd move over this way, and with, you know, Del Mar being here, that was the first college that I went to. So you know, it made sense for me to come here. So every time that we got done with a deployment, we always came back home. But I stayed pretty active, you know, active in the military because, you know, I went to Kosovo, came back, and then there was the, you know, the border mission. They were sending National Guard soldiers down to the border. So I went down there for a little bit, and then, you know, went to Iraq, and then went back down to the border. So for about 2005, 2011, I stayed pretty busy on deployments here and there with, you know, a couple of months breaks in here and there, but mostly military, and, you know, during that time.
Oh, that's good. And what was one of the first things you did when you came back home from?
Geez, I don't know. I think I just got some good Texas food. Really, I think that was just the biggest thing because you just kind of get deprived of that when you're over there.
Yeah.
So, and then just like a lot of family and stuff that, you know, they threw a welcome home party and stuff, and you know, just welcome me home, visit his family and friends, because those are the biggest things that we missed over there. Just being with family and friends. So.
That's good. And how was the transition from military to civilian life?
It was it was an experience, challenging, because again, you're set to certain standards when you're in the military, always being on time and stuff like that. And you know, I've been married a long time, and you know, my wife has never been on time for anything. So
Transition from military back to civilian.
That's right. The parties
Yeah, this-
and being on time.
Okay, yeah. I guess we'll start with that question again. So how was the transition from military to civilian life? You said about being on time and you're
Yeah.
married and.
yeah, just challenging overall. Like I said, you know, kind of set, you know, for that year and a half time that you're deployed and gone, setting certain, you know, setting ways and being on time, and you know, so it's a little transition, you know, especially when you go back to your civilian jobs, and you know, you don't have those individuals that have been in the military and stuff like that. They don't see kind of what you see, and the importance of, you know, being on time and getting things done, and big picture wise how it affects other things. So It's challenging, but it's not something that, stopped me from living life, because, if there's one thing that, I learned being in the military is to value your time, so, that's one big thing.
Were there any health issues after coming back from war as far as, I don't know, I guess you said everything was peacekeeping, so you weren't exposed to any type of.
Mhm. Anything
Yeah.
malicious,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, every deployment, it takes its toll on your body, because you always got to train up and do things that your body's not really used to. So that's
Mhm.
kind of why, everyone that trains up to go to any sort of deployment, whether it's peacekeeping or, the kind of like the operations that we did in Iraq, it was all kind of the same kind of
It
train
still
up.
breaks your body down as
Yeah.
far
Mhm.
as.
So, I mean, it's not, you don't really come back the same. And, even life itself, you don't have to go to war or anything like that, but, just day-to-day things that you do
Mhm.
just take a toll on your body.
Yeah,
But
it's just kind of different.
so, yeah, I mean, my health wasn't the same, but I mean, I was alive, and,
Mhm.
I was very fortunate and blessed that I wasn't put in situations where, I seen a lot of bad things or anything, so, overall, I think health was fine.
Going back to friendships and relationships you had within the Guard, had you remained in touch with any of your fellow veterans, or?
Oh, absolutely. Facebook, has kind of blown up over the years, but, a lot of people that we deployed with and spent a lot of time with, we stayed a lot of touch. Sometimes, there was a reunion not too long ago that they did for the deployment in Iraq. So, every opportunity, like I said, we try to get together and kind of just catch up on things and stuff like that. So a lot of good friends that I've had over the years and continue to have over the years, and it's always good to have, like I said, those experiences and stuff that you had during deployments. It stays with you. So
Yeah. Are you a member of any veterans organizations? Because, veterans, usually they'll come back and they'll join some sort of organization.
no, not at this time. I just I haven't really had the time to commit to one of those organizations, and when I do, I want to be able to fully commit, because they're very important, and they do a lot for veterans, and so once I do commit to being one of these organizations, I want to be able to give them the time that those individuals give to us, because I've been helped out by those organizations, so they're good to have. But just right now, since I'm still in the military and stuff like that,
Yeah.
still doing the things that I'm doing. So not at this time, but I sure plan on it.
All right, and I guess since you're home, what have you kind of been doing to, that's different from military life?
Well, I've done a couple of different jobs, civilian-wise, but I ended up, getting a job on the base, so it's kind of more military-related,
Mhm.
so it kind of fits,
Yeah.
my philosophies and lifestyle a little bit better. So, so I haven't really had to change too much. So, being there, it kind of surrounds me around that environment that I'm kind of used to, so not
Yeah.
really too much.
How did being in, deployed, how did that affect your view of military?
I don't think it really affected my view of the military at all. I think I've always seen the military as something that we need to protect, our homeland. So I trust that the president, Congress, and the governor make the decisions that are best for us here in America. So whenever they need us to go, we don't ask questions. We just go
You just do
to
it.
serve our country. So.
Is there any, I don't know, special life lessons you could say you learned while deployed, or?
Like I said, my biggest thing was always valuing time, because over the years there's been so many missed birthdays, anniversaries, weddings. I've only been to one friend's wedding throughout my whole military career, just because I'm always gone, I'm always training or always doing something. So any chance that I get, to spend with my kids or my family, I try to do as much as I can with them, because, being in the National Guard, we don't know when we're going to deploy again. So, so that's really my biggest life lesson, because it's not something that you can't buy back time, and you just gotta you know, be fortunate for the things that you have and be happy with life.
Yeah, that's pretty sound advice.
And you said you were married. Did you meet your wife in the military? Did you meet her?
No, I met her here in Corpus. I met her before, we were together for probably about a year and a half before I got deployed. So I got married a little before I got deployed, my first deployment in 2005. So since, we're going on 10 years.
Oh,
so,
well,
yeah, I've been
congratulations.
on military.
And do you have any children?
Yes, I got 4 children actually. Two that we had with her, and then I had a stepson, and then we just adopted my wife's nephew a few months ago. So now we got 4.
Oh,
nice.
well, congratulations on that. And how do you feel about being, I guess, and as a family, as a blended family and military as a whole, how do you feel about if one of your children decided to go into the military?
You know, my son always sees me, you know, in uniform, and I tell him, because he tells me he wants to be a soldier, and I tell him, no, you're gonna go to college and stuff, you know, and do great things. You know, I love the military for what it's done and what it's provided my family. Coming from a small town, and not really, you know, my mom being a single parent, we didn't really have a lot. So we're very fortunate for the things that we have in life, and the military provided a lot of that. But I think that working hard for them so that they can have a better life, you know, I want them to try to do college and do the things. It's not really so much go towards the military unless they have to. But, you know, I've learned a lot of great things in the military, and you know, if that's what they want to do, then I'll support it. But I'm trying to put them in the position to where they don't need to, kind of like what I did, because for me, you know, I didn't have too many choices. It was either follow my dad's footsteps to go in the oil field or join the military and try to get a college degree. And, you know, being the first one out of my family to get a college degree, you know, it says a lot for what the military has provided for me, and it's worked out for me. So
Oh, that's nice.
I'm just hoping that they don't have to go through the same things that I have to do, because it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
You know, it was a lot, like I said, a lot of lost time with family and friends and things that I wish I could get back that I'm never going to, you know, be able to get back. But at the end of the day, hopefully all my hard work will help them get in a better position so they don't need to do that. So
That's great. Where did you graduate from?
college?
Mm-hmm.
College, University of Phoenix.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and I tried to go here to Del Mar, and then I got deployed, came back and tried to go to Del Mar, and got deployed again. For me, it was trying to find something that would best suit my
Suit you.
lifestyle,
Yeah.
and, you know, the University of Phoenix was the only thing at the time that
Yeah.
allowed me to still go to college but stay deployed, because, you know, here at Del Mar, at the time, they didn't really have online classes as many and stuff,
Yeah.
so that was the best thing that worked out for me. So
Wow, that's great. And what was your interest? What was your major? What did you?
it's a bachelor's in science.
Bachelor's in science.
Yes, in management. So it helped me out quite a
Yeah.
bit of, you know, especially what I'm doing now today. So
That's great. And do you have any tattoos relating to military?
No, my mom's very against tattoos, so you know, I know I'm grown, I'm 30 years old, but I still wouldn't want to disappoint her. And
Aw, that's cute.
I seen,
Sweet.
I seen what you know, my brother, you know, he knew that too, and he just was the rebellious one against that. And so I seen her reaction with that, so I didn't want to be in that same boat.
Aw. And I guess, how do you feel about being in this Veterans History Project and leaving this for your future family, kids, grandkids, to be able to look up one day?
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity, and you know, I got a call from a friend and asked if I'd be willing to do this, and you know, whatever I can do to share my story with others, and hopefully maybe help somebody down the road, or even my family make decisions to better their life. You know, I'm really for that. So appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank
for-
you.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, for being here. Can you, I guess, tell us all the
What
badges,
what
you
they
got
mean.
merits? Yeah, what all that
Well,
means.
I don't think we have enough time for all that, but I mean, I'll quickly go over. But a lot of this is, you know, this is the driver badge here, our marksman's, which is like our grenades and rifles. This expert infantry badge that was earned in Kosovo actually. And I said I was artillery, but you know, when we deployed for Kosovo, they made us get a secondary MOS for 11 Bravo, which is infantry, because we were actually going to be on the ground. So. So the funny story with that is because my brother, he served in the military too, like I said, but his MOS was infantry. And so in the military, you have infantry and artillery. The artillery usually covers the infantry, kind of worked out because my brother was the infantry and I was artillery. So, but when they brought the school up, my brother, he went to a different basic training, which was a lot harder than where I went. So he was pretty hardcore, I think. You know, I looked up to him for what he did and stuff, because his training was a lot harder than mine. But when this school came up, I kind of went to it in spite of him, because I wanted to show that he wasn't
That
that
you
bad,
could,
right?
yeah.
So
Aw.
it's one of those schools where usually less than 10% of whoever goes out there usually gets the badge. So I think there was about 126 people that tried out, and then when I went through, there was only 6 of us that actually
Made it.
graduated.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So and it had a bunch of different things in there. Just tested all the different things that infantrymen do. So yeah, I had it and he doesn't. So, it's kind of one of those things. So but you know, I always stay true to my primary MOS, which is field artillery. So I like to make a lot of noise, and you know, that's what the recruiter got me on. So, but other than that, a lot of it was you know, a lot of these are state awards down to the bottom here. You know, there's a Kosovo award. That's our NCO development award. ARCOM is my highest award right now. AAM, and there's just, you know, a bunch of federal awards all up here. So, and this one right here is actually a German marksmanship award. They call it the Shoots and Sneers. So we actually got to go out there with the German army when we were deployed in Kosovo, and they went to our ranges and qualified to get our badges, which are these over here, and then we went over there and qualified to get their badges.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, so that was a great experience, and they're a little bit more loose on weapons and their qualifications, so it was kind of unique to go out there and shoot their weapons, and they got to shoot ours. So that was a good experience. But other than that, I've been in you know, 13 years. I just signed my last contract that hopefully will take me to my 20, and I probably won't do any more time after that.
Oh, wow.
I actually just got promoted to Master Sergeant, but I got transferred over to an aviation brigade, which is kind of unique because, again, I've been in field artillery my entire career, but with them they have that, they had that MOS over there, so I'm actually working with the Shadows, which are, you know, your drones and stuff like that. So it's a little bit smaller. So I'm actually just went over there. I just reported last month, or 2 months ago, I'm sorry. But here in Gatesville now, so that's my new unit. So a different experience. Not something that I'm used to, but you know, I'm glad to be given the opportunity, and we'll see where that takes me. So
That's
got
great.
6 years. My goal, you know, was to try to get the toppest rank, the highest rank before getting out. So right now I'm an E8 and the highest is an E9. So hopefully in that 6 years I'll finish
wow.
finish getting that E9 before I get out.
Wow.
So
Well, congratulations on shooting for that. That's
Yeah.
great.
Mm-hmm.
And so, well, which one would you say was, I guess, most rewarding, most personal, most
I guess
to
that gave you
yeah,
the highest sense
biggest
of
high? Would it be
accomplishment.
the one with your brother, as far as not him?
yeah.
With the,
I think they all have their own story.
Their own- yeah.
I couldn't put one over the other
Okay.
because, like I said, they've all taken the time. They've taken something, you know, out of my life that is important to me. So, you know, all of them together. I mean, there's not one more important than the other. So,
I guess lastly, anything that you would like to add for, you know,
Or like a message for
Message.
future generations. I guess that kind
Yeah.
of ties in with the life lessons.
with the life lessons, but
Mhm.
anything else?
I think with the military, you know, I don't have any regrets because everything that I've done has kind of, like I said, put me in the position that I am today, both civilian and military life. My only, you know, advice to those that are thinking to join the military or are seeking it is to choose a job that you're going to have fun with, and choose something that you can come back and do it on the civilian life, because that's very important. You know, having this on your resume in the military is good for one piece, which is leadership and management, because that's what, you know, your civilian jobs look at when they see that you have military in your background. But also, you know, if you have that specialized experience in aviation or computers or something in finance or anything like that, it's always something you can come back to the civilian world and use that to get better jobs. So it just kind of helps you out, you know, your resume wise. But the military is not for everybody, but for those that choose to take the challenge, I think it's rewarding. And you know, everybody that I've served with, and you know, like I said, I try to keep in touch with, and very fortunate to have been with all of them. They've all taught me something along the way, and so just happy to be in the situation I am because of the military.
That's great. Well, as a group, we would like to thank you very much for allowing us to interview you and to be here, and thank you for serving in our military and protecting us, protecting our
Keeping the
freedom.
peace.
And yeah, so we'd like to thank you for that. And it's a wrap.
All right.